Welcome to another episode of the Quip and Convo segment. Today, I'll have my friend Chinyere in the room with me. You'll see her bio right after this. I'm looking forward to a fun conversation. See you in a bit. Welcome to the Quip and Convo segment, Chinyere.
Thank you, Ada, for having me.
I'm glad that you made time to spend some time with me in the Quip Corner. Today, we're going to be discussing a quip in my second book. And thank you for being my alpha reader for that book and all my books, actually. And we'll be looking at quip 60, which says, when you spend time with your children doing what is important to them, they know that they are important to you. So I'm curious, what do you think? What has your experience been?
Well, thanks, Ada. And I always commend your ability to generate these quips because they bring home the truth in a very catchy manner. When I think about this particular quip, when you spend time with your children doing what's important to them, it says that you are spending your time, you're not doing something else, you're not distracted, you're focusing on them. And you're paying attention, not just creating things that are important to you as a mom. You're thinking through what's important to each of them. And when I have 3 children, they all have different needs. And they have different needs at different times. So what's important to person 1 in year 2022 is quite different from what was important to them 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So you have very diverse interests, diverse seasons, diverse ages, and even gender creates its own level of diversity. But the important thing is that once you're able to understand what's important to each person, that makes that person unique. The person feels wanted, feels appreciated, feels heard, and the person can relate to what you're doing. If you spend time with person A, doing what's perhaps important to person B, then person A does not feel like they're important enough. They don't feel unique in themselves. They feel like they're a copy of somebody else, or that you're trying to model them around what's important to somebody else. So understanding what's important to that person helps that person engage in a particular activity or a particular conversation. The person begins to trust you that you can relate with them, that you appreciate what they're going through. Therefore, when they understand or they can trust that they're important to you, then they will come to you with issues. They'll come to you with things that they're facing. They'll come back to you with whatever because they feel, oh, my mom will understand. My mom can relate with it. My mom can discuss it. And for me, that's what comes to mind.
And that's a great point about when they feel that they're important to you, they feel heard and seen, that they come to you. So what advice do you have for families where a lot of times that do something with the children is almost assigned, or shall I say delegated to the mother, and say, mom, it's the mother's responsibility? What advice would you have, so that this is a holistic family endeavor, for want of a better word?
Okay, so we must understand that there's no silver bullet to the matter. And what works in one family may not work in another family. It would be nice to say, oh, the father should pay attention to everything, just like the mother is paying attention to. It's not possible for both individuals to pay attention to the same thing with the same level of intensity. So we need to, in every family, need to determine what works. Also, depending on the subject matter, one partner may be in tune with it more than another partner. So
Yes.
it's very organic, okay? Therefore, families need to kind of understand what works for their family, for their children.
Yeah.
There are some subjects that a son will feel very comfortable discussing with mom, vis-a-vis discussing with dad, and the other way around. Same thing with daughters. There's some subject that my daughters would feel very comfortable discussing with me and not with my husband. And there's some subject they want to discuss with their father as well. Okay, so we mustn't force anything.
Yeah.
That does not mean that we should abrogate the responsibility completely and say, oh, okay, no, it's mother, oh, okay, no, it's father. No, it's both parties working together, understanding what their children will appreciate, understanding what will make the child comfortable. Because there are some subjects that my husband may want to broach with my daughters and they'll be so uncomfortable. So it's nice for him to get into that conversation, but they are not willing to interact in that way. So it's just understand what works for every, like back to the point of every season, every age, gender, things will be different. So work it out as you go along.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. That's pretty insightful. And well, like you said, you have 3 children, 3 adult children even. So you've been through the hoops of trying to do what's important with them from when they were playing Legos and dolls or whatever to now that they're adulting. So kudos to you and your husband for all that. As we wrap this up, what advice do you have for families, please?
Pay attention to your children's need. In this day and time, a lot of children, teenagers are, facing different levels of mental health issues. And sometimes it's the point of not being able to have a conversation with their parents that's helping them, they're bottling things within themselves, or things they should ask their parents, they're asking their peers. Okay, so it's being open to them and giving them a sense of, you can always come to me, you can always talk to me about something and not shut them up. That's so important.
Thank you. Yes, access is definitely important. Thank you once again for spending time with me in the Quip Corner. I look forward to having you back in the Quip Corner again, Chinyere.
Thank you for having me. And, I look forward to the next book and the next book and the next book.
Thank you.
All the best. Bye now.
Bye now. I believe you took as much or maybe even more than I did away from that conversation with Chinyere. It's always enlightening and educative chatting with Chinyere. Well, she makes a real good point about paying attention to your children's needs, especially now that mental health is up there. As we celebrate Family Day this weekend, please make time for your family. Because like the Quip said, when you make time for what is important to your children and to your spouse, they know that they're important to you. Thanks again for joining me in the Quip Corner and in this Quip and Convo segment. See you in the next episode of the Quip Corner with Ada. Have a great weekend too, or a great long weekend. Bye now.